All right, everybody, wash and talk. Look at how freaking good this thing looks. Dang it, I've been waiting for this. I don't know why I didn't do this so much longer. That makes sense, so much longer? I don't know why I didn't do this a while ago, because I've got the fit right. I don't even know if I need an alignment. I got the darn camber set up pretty well. I need to go get an alignment done, but it's flush. It's a tiny little rub if it under like crazy full compression in the rear. But this is the way I wanted it set up, and part of the reason is the dyno was at maximum low in the front. We probably had reduced travel and all of that stuff. But anyway, I need to wash the M3, and I'll probably drive the GT3 RS this week, or maybe the GT4, depending on if I get the exhaust done. All right, but let's set up and chat you up this morning. My new routine is to come over here. If I go to do a morning wash, come over here to the garage. If I'm going to do a evening wash, do it at home, at least this time of year anyway. I've left the kind of door right at my head height here, that way the air conditioning doesn't get totally destroyed. GSF. Yarn building is a couple of days out, so I'm about to tear this whole place apart, so I guess my wash routine is going to change. But for today, we're going to do a wash out here. Where's my funnel? Oh, it's right there. So the M3 2.0 is coming together. I keep getting a code that doesn't throw a check engine light, that has to do with, crap, I don't remember what it is, something ignition. And then I've been having this kind of weird sound when I'm, the car's hot and I'm at full throttle. It kind of feels like it's sucking water, or like maybe the intake valve is stuck or something like that. I don't know, something weird going on that I've got to figure out. Other than that, the M3 is looking good. I've got American Racing headers, and they're full exhaust to put on. I'm going to do that soon. I'm having a BMW expert come and do that for me, because I don't want to frickin' do the headers. I did the headers on the GT350, and that was a nightmare, and I will never do that again. So we're going to be doing cheat mode. Hashtag pay someone, whatever you want to call it. I ain't doing it. I get wiser as I get older. So this is GSF, put about 150 milliliters in there. The nice thing about having the bucket filler, unlike my house, is that I've got to, actually this little thing that Eric, I don't know where he got this thing, a little foam cannon holder. Eric from G Technic sent that to me for my foam cannon for the wheels. We'll leave that there. Put that there. Let's get our pressure washer set up. Reduce the drag. Pull the PP plug. Always pull the PP plug out first. Yeah, man, if you want, I'm telling you, the supply of everything. I fear that we've created I don't know, some sort of hyperinflation bubble. You never know what the bubble is going to be. You never know if there's going to be a bubble. There may just be a typical market pullback, but man, I was looking at Land Cruisers last night, and every Land Cruiser that's available has like a $20,000 markup. It's a freaking Land Cruiser. Who the heck buys Land Cruisers? Nobody. That should be like a 4-order car only. Michelle's, the Raptor's I'm about done with it. It really needs some love, and love I'm not willing to give. So let's just wash with DI today, because the sun's going to come out on us for sure. Set up to do our wheels. Just set this aside. Just put it in the bucket here. Yeah, the new OG spec wand is a little shorter than the other. It's a little more difficult to get it out of the Mosmatic wand holder. So I think this is the perfect M3, being it is, it's not a perfect car. You know, it has paint, lots of stuff has been repainted on it. It's 36,000 miles. It's not like a 3,000 mile car. And again, don't get me wrong, it's really, really nice, but I think it's a good candidate to do a Diamond Stroker. So we're gonna get the exhaust on, get the suspension set up. I think I'm just gonna stay, I really like to do carbon ceramics, but that means I need to get different wheels. I really like these wheels. Maybe if I custom order some HREs to spec exactly the way I want them, and then I could do a barrel, a little bigger barrel, so I could fit the carbon ceramics. I don't know, just throwing it out there. I'm gonna need some brake buster. Fill this up. Got a bottle of it somewhere in here. So the washing setup at the yarn building is going to be much more sophisticated than this one. I'm going to have a better cabinet set up, and I do some shelves, and I think I'm going to do multiple pressure washers, just so we can display them and demo them and have them for tech support and all that stuff. I don't really like to use the funnel with this because it's so heavy alkaline. It eats through the anodization. Maybe we should make a stainless version for the wheels of the quick disconnect. So I'm having to be very precise. So I just use it straight up. This stuff is cheap enough. I understand if you're doing, you know, this professionally, you gotta save some dollars somewhere, and so, you know, diluting some chemicals might make sense. But for me, just washing my own cars here and there, I don't find it necessary to dilute. Plus, we're diluting it pretty substantially when we're running it through the foam can. Let's see if this thing, I guess. Everybody wants things that, I always have to watch myself. Is it a freaking wheel cleaner? Am I not interested because I didn't think of it? Or am I not interested because it's not any good? It's always a hard thing to determine. Not that I didn't think of it, it's just that a lot of times things like, if it's not on my mind, if something that I'm super interested in chasing and people are selling it to me, or giving it to me, or I'll buy it. Unless I bought it, it's kind of hard to, I've learned it's hard to buy in. You know, when you do it the way I do it, I have to like sell out for things. You know, not sell out's a bad word. I have to be all in order to really believe in something. You know, like Dyne Audio, these freaking Core 7s. I can't wait to get the Core 59s. You know, audio in the garage is something I'm working on, and I've kind of figured out what I like the most. Now having multiple different versions, I've got wireless towers, I've got studio monitors, or wireless bookshelves and towers. Studio monitors, I've got you know, little wireless Bluetooth type AirPlay speakers and the musics, and I've got, you know, traditional passive speakers with a, you know, separate receiver. And I think if you're not doing any video, my favorite by far is to do a set of studio monitors, kind of hybrid setup. and I'm going to create some solutions around that. But I can't wait to get the Core 59s. The Core 59s are not practical for most garages, but it's something I'm going to have in the yarn building, I'm pretty sure. 2 Core subs and 2 Core 59s. The core stuff is what you would do if you had a recording studio. And for whatever reason, you know, they're designed to be near field, meaning that they're designed to be listened to close, like sitting at a desk or sitting at a mixing board. And for whatever reason, they just work so darn well in the garage. Partly because they're smooth and clean, and they don't have a lot of brightness. And at first, I'm like, man, the LID stuff. The LID is the entry-level studio monitor stuff from Dynaudio, which is by no means entry-level. But the LID stuff is sounds better out of the box. So when you buy it, hook it up, it sounds better. But then the core stuff, as it's gotten broken in, and I still have a long way to go to break it in, it sounds so sweet, so smooth. And so I think for most of our high-end garage specs, and for my suggestion for people is going to be that if you are going to just listen to music, it's the freaking way to go. Let's come in a little tighter here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Wow, that car looks so freaking good. Look at that thing. It's incredible. I love this car. What was I thinking? So, yeah, we're going to do the Zeo should be out here in the next week or so. The musics are already up and been selling. Lots of you guys have been buying them. I really appreciate that. I don't know if I like that. It's going to scratch up my quick disconnect. We'll keep playing with it. So, what I think I'm going to do in my house is I think I've decided to cut the walls apart again, and I think I'm going to do a full surround setup. So I'm going to do all Dynaudio Evoke, and then in the yarn building I'm going to have Core 59s and LYD stuff, so studio monitor stuff, and then at my computer I'll either have LYD or Zeo. And then my home theater, I've got Contour Eye. It's a Dynaudio explosion. And so I talked to Audio Control, and they basically told me no. So we'll see. I'm going to call NAD. NAD actually has much better digital solutions. So it's so funny. Audio Control's like, it's a bit too complicated. I don't think you could teach people. I'm like, I freaking teach people how to hook up a $3,000 custom installed, fabricated pressure washer, and how to buy a $8,000 lifts and put them in. I think we can figure out how to tell somebody how to hook up a receiver. It's freaking simple. And, die rack, all you do is make some tutorials, just get in and play with it, and then show people how to use it. It's pretty simple to me, but they're not convinced. So, well, try somebody else. I don't have like a processor preamp, like die-hard. I like Yamaha a lot, but I think for some of the systems we're going to be doing, they're a little bit too high-end for Yamaha. So we'll get all the high-end stuff set up, and then we'll chase the lower end in the future when I have some more data to show to these companies, hey, we're legit. Nobody wants to sell online. I don't really sell online. We're kind of doing something a little different here. So anyway, but yeah, the M3's looking pretty sharp. Hopefully no water spots here today. Let's keep the water spots away. Paint looks good. Now it's just maintaining it. You know, I had that struggle there for a while where something just kept going wrong. And so I did Olin's Road and Track from Barry at 3DM. And I'm able to get super low and it still feels pretty comfortable. I'm able to dial in camber, caster, everything I need with the camber plate. Look at how good that looks, man. It's so awesome. I gotta steal a Viper chair. I hope we have some. I think we have some in stock still, so I'm gonna steal one for my house because the one I have, the aluminum-based one, is too big, too tall, or it's a bit too wide. The base of it is. Man, look at that. I think I'm just gonna leave it alone with these wheels and these brakes. Just deal with brake dust. Because the Brembo carbon ceramics don't look very good anyway in comparison to these. They look kind of weird. The OEM BMW ones. But this, I should never have done this. I knew better, but I had to do it just to get it out of my system. I bought the Acura Evo exhaust because they're discontinued, no longer going to make them. So I got one of the last 4 or 5 in the US. And sure enough, 30 seconds after I put it on, I knew I'd made a mistake. I don't understand you people. This is the worst exhaust I've ever had on any car. Even including like some of the crazy stuff that was boomy drone, like it's the worst. I'd rather have boomy drone than this. It sounds terrible. Like it's so thin, the typical titanium. I don't know how any of you guys deal with this. It sounds, I'd rather have a stainless stock exhaust. It's way better. It's freaking $6,500 something exhaust. It's terrible. Like it couldn't be any worse. It's just thin sounding, sounds like titanium sounds on a car, just not good. And like it's so freaking quiet, and like why waste your money? It doesn't do anything. You're gonna gain 3.5 horsepower from it. Ugh, it's just terrible. And I just can't for the life of me imagine why this became like the exhaust for this car. It's terrible. And anybody saying, well, just take the resonator or just take the cats out. You can't, because then it's going to sound even worse. And it doesn't even look very good. It's just unbelievably awful. Like, I can't explain to you how bad it is. I'm going to end up throwing it in the trash because I'm telling you not to buy it. Someone will still buy it because they won't believe me, which is fine. But it's so bad that's why I bought the American Racing header setup, and I'm just going to go to the American, good old-fashioned, turn this thing. I want that combination of intake noise and exhaust without all the drones. So hopefully it doesn't drone. There's not a lot of people that have done the American Racing stuff, maybe a few hundred tops. And most of them have just done it privately. They haven't made videos and stuff on it, which of course we will. But the American Racing is full. I think they're 1 5/8 is the size I chose. 1 5/8. I guess they're long tubes, headers, and then full rear section all the way back. So I did their resonated catless version And my friend Alex from Alpine MSS already installed the tune he has for it. And so even though I still have the Acura on here for another couple of days or a week or so. Ooh, man, that's tucked. I'm going to have a hard time cleaning my tires now. It's okay. I just can't. This is so bad. Like, I don't even want to drive the car. It's so bad. It's just so boring and thin sounding and, ugh, God. Terrible. Wasted so much money on that. The dumbest move I've made yet. Alright, let's go around the other side. Hustle up here, beat the sun. It's not super early. Like you know, you've heard me say things suck before, but this is a whole nother level of sucks. It's like it's like unimaginable how bad it is when it's supposed to be so good. Maybe I just like things that are different than everybody else. I don't know, but to me, it's not rocket science. It's a freaking exhaust. Should make some noise. This thing only makes a little bit of really crappy noise. I think people, I don't know what it is, but maybe there's just a strong bias toward purchase justification. Like, I gotta tell everybody this is a good exhaust because I bought it. Which is, most people that can swing $6 grand or $7 grand for an exhaust don't have that kind of bias. Usually they don't really care. The fit and finish is great. Function sucks. So I'm going to the mountains on Thursday. We talked about it in the last couple of Wash and Talks. But I don't think I really explained what sparked this whole idea. I've been planning, I've been talking to you for quite a few years about the idea of building a community in the mountains. But I mean, you're talking 50, 80, $100 million to develop, and then you're talking about raising capital and taking on huge risk and dealing with the counties. They probably don't really want you up there. So I'm just not there yet. I'm not ready for that fight. Maybe someday we'll fight the fight, but you're going to deal with locals not wanting it in their backyard, which is understandable. And so instead, what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to get a house, and then we're going to make it a OG destination. We already got the site, Destination OG, Destination Obsessed Garage, and this will be the first property. I just don't know. I'm going up there, but I'm not very optimistic that I'm going to be able to purchase anything within reason without just showing up. I don't have that much cash set aside to buy a really expensive place. So I'm going to borrow to buy it, and then we're going to set it up to let you borrow it from me for money. So, but I'm going up. There's one house that I'm really interested. That's perfect. It's in Helen, which is a little janky. Helen, Georgia, and it's kind of a unique house that, I don't know, a lot of it, there's going to be a lot of factors. I don't think it's going to appraise for what the guy wants for it. He's into it for a lot more than what it's worth, even asking way more than what it's worth, very likely. And so I can make the numbers work for me, charging a reasonable, it's a 5,500 square foot house with a 6-car garage on 4 acres with a private everything drive and gate and all that stuff. And the key is that you can get trailers in and out of there, dropping cars off. You could bring your Raptor with your car trailered in, or we can have Bubba come get your car, or Reliable get your car and ship it there and then pick it up. But so it's a unique property that works really well for me, but I don't know that that's going to translate in appraisals and stuff like that. So I may, depending on how much if I love it and I think we can make it work. Forgot I was telling you the story of why this all came about. Then maybe we'll figure out how to make it happen with some. I think the guy owns it, and he owns a bunch of houses, so maybe he'll owner finance it or something. And we'll kind of split the difference in what it's appraised for and what we both think is worth. I don't know, we'll see. So I've wanted to go to the mountains for a while. I haven't been able to drive very much because of my fear of everything, it seems, my own shadow. And so I've off and on over the last 4 or 5 years, I've had trouble driving because I panic when I'm sitting. The worst part now is when I'm sitting at a stoplight is the hardest part for me. And so I've been trying to fix that. And so the mountains is something I've avoided the last 2 years because I haven't been able to drive to the frickin' garage, let alone through the mountains at top speed on the side of cliffs. Although every time I've ever gone up there, anytime I've had a problem, it's like been therapy and like kind of reset my psyche. So I want to get up there, but I haven't been able to. Like I think a bunch of OG people went up, I just couldn't go. And so Michelle and I are going up, and she'll get me there, and then hopefully I can do some driving on the back roads a bit. I rented a Cayman on Turo, so we'll see how base Cayman. We'll see if the car isn't all trash. But this is a guy who does see clear. It seems pretty clear. He does nothing but Turo. Has a bunch of cool cars. But anyway, I've been wanting to go up there and rent a house and ship my car up there and go meet my car there and spend a week or two and do all kinds of cool stuff, mountain biking and hiking and all that stuff. And there's nowhere to go. Like all these houses are the same goofy bull crap. I don't want a mountain house. I want a house in the mountains. Meaning I don't want all that weird crap like deer heads and weird wood and some crappy 27-inch Sylvania LCD that I don't even know where people get those things. Like where do they come from? Who makes that? Like who sells that junk? That's what every house has because they're so cheap because it's nothing but a rental. And so it just doesn't exist. And if it does, they rent to like a small pool of people they know, or they just, if you have a really, really nice house, you just don't rent it out. You just keep it. And so I can't find anything that is acceptable that I want to go and stay in. And I'd pay a lot more if there was something good. It's just not there. And so I'm scrolling around like VRBO and all this crap, and then calling some realtors that have portfolios of homes that they, lease and rent, and just trying to find that place. Called everyone I know, all the friends that are from Atlanta or have houses in the mountains, and or to see if they knew someone that had a house in the mountains. There really isn't anybody, and it's just such a hard thing to find. Did I do this yet? No. And so if it's that hard, I'm sure it exists, but if it's that hard to find, it's just seems like an opportunity to me to create a portfolio of homes. I'm going to start with one, see if it works. And then we're going to change the language a bit, change how it's done a bit, in that I'm not calling it a rental. I know it's semantics, but I'm calling it a you borrow my house for money. And I have to work out the logistics of how would I keep it super dialed in. And because, you know, it's not fair to one person to show up and have it all dialed in, and that person kind of messes it up, and the next person comes in and doesn't get the same experience. So what I'm not concerned about is someone comes and steals a couple screwdrivers, whatever, and I'll just get frickin' new ones, and then we'll give them a hard time and all that stuff. That's the least of my concerns. The biggest concern is having a house that we can get cars in and out, have it big enough that you could have, you know, several people show up, you know, and go drive together. If you wanted to have the garage outfitted with everything, have the house with a freaking awesome couch, and then mainly have it so that I can go up there whenever I want. Oh, shoot. So, we're going up. I'm going to make it happen. Or not. If I do make it happen, it doesn't work, whatever. I'm going to do it my way, which seems to work pretty well most of the time. And, yeah, I don't know if you noticed, I kind of trialed while I'm getting myself back to driving and no more panic and all that crap. I'm off of my OCD medication and all that stuff. I'm really working on getting fit, which is going to take a year plus. My body just doesn't melt the weight off like it used to. But I've been trying a bit new tack, which I know is going to hack a lot of you, or some of you off, at least so you think so. You think it's going to be a bad thing, but I'm going to do much more content creating, just putting it out there and letting it go instead of following up so much. You know, it's only a matter of time before I say something stupid that gets me canceled. So, which, you know, people are always looking for one word to get you. And I'm just not going to play that game. And you know, so I've been posting. This whole idea of Destination OG, I've been thinking, well, maybe I'll share it with everybody, and you know, we'll get some feedback, and I'll ask for feedback when I'm looking for feedback, and then, you know, let people know when I'm not looking for feedback. I'll still give you feedback, but I think my original idea, which I've been, you know, practicing a little bit, is to ship the content, you know, make the videos, put the stuff out, and then just let it live in the ether. You know, meaning I don't need to follow up on every comment, and I know that there's a disadvantage to that, but I need to stay frickin' sane, and I think that I'm going to do that. You know, lesson learned on the darn. I just don't understand how people in general get so angry or can, like, cancel you from their life by one word or two words. It's insane. What about the body of your life? I guess people are just looking for you to slip or something. I don't know. It's weird. So I'm just not going to play that game anymore. It's not worth it to me. I'd rather just deal with the humans here and just put out the content, put out the videos, and interact with you as customers and interact with you as, you know, people that are interested. But unfortunately, you know, this has happened waves. There have been waves of this where I get canceled by certain people that I let in, and I don't want to do that. It's no fun. Who the heck wants to do? No one wants to do that. So I'll just not let anybody in that deep, and I won't have to have that happen, which kind of goes against the whole thing that I started with, which is let everybody in. So we'll see. I'm going to find that happy medium someday. But adjustments are always necessary in this game of putting yourself out there. You know, there's some significant advantages to it, but sometimes I get a little bit too, I let everybody in too much. And then they know how to get you. So, whatever that means. But yeah, so the idea of the borrow my place for money, I'm gonna kind of coin some terms like I normally do, some weird ideas or weird concepts. You know, one of the things I learned most from my coach, and then just, you know, this experience of Obsessed Garage and creating something from nothing, is that who's going to stop you? And the more you ask for opinion, and the more you engage, the more people tell you it's not going to work, and then you won't do it. It might not work. And I'm going to share it publicly, which is probably not smart. But whatever. Real estate doesn't really interest me. What does interest me is homes and having a big project. And in order to do that big project, you need real estate to do it. And so I'm going to figure out how to do it my way. And I'm going to just throw it out there and create tons and tons of videos around it. And not pick fights with people. No need to fight with anybody anymore. I don't have any more fight left in me. So, peace out if you want to fight. I ain't doing it. And usually I want to make a grand exit. Like, I thought you were this and you're not because you said the word suck. And that is no good. Sorry. Not much I can do about it. That's me. What did you think you were getting? I told you what you were getting from the beginning. This is it. This is all I got. I just can't imagine having that, where I'm analyzing somebody's every freaking word, looking for an excuse to get rid of them out of my life. It's so stressful. I just don't do that. Why? Why would you need to do that? Well, I think you've changed. Well, no doy, dumbos. Everybody changes. If you're not changing, then you're stuck. You gotta change. You gotta adapt. You gotta evolve. Shoot, I just talked about buying Bitcoin the other day, for God's sake. So that's my latest lesson. I think when you start out, I think about, guys that own big companies, not, Obsessed Garage really isn't a big company. It's a little bit growing company, is that you just don't see people engage as much. Like you talk, the Warren Buffett is like a classic example of, how you engage. You kind of go and you take Q&As at different times, and you do what you think is right based on the numbers, based on the analysis. And sometimes you make a good investment, sometimes you make a bad investment. And, he's pretty public with all that stuff because it's a publicly traded company, but he doesn't engage. And that's such a shame, because I think the engagement is is a really powerful part. But I think there comes a point where you just can't pick fights with people anymore. And so I'll probably be a lot happier. All right, let's get our foam cannon. Let's get our soap bucket ready. Oh wait, no, let's foam it. It's been so while since I've done it in my normal process. Slumming it out in the driveways here. See, that's something, like I say, slumming it in the driveway. And inevitably somebody says, I can't believe you call it that. There's some people that don't have a driveway. Like, come on, for God's sake. So we can all thank our people that can't handle engagement for all the disengagement of the people that you want to hear from most. I should listen to Gary Vee more. Like, I guarantee you there's about 9 people watching this video that are just appalled that the Acura exhaust sucks. Right? Just appalled. You just can't believe you're saying that. And then they make a comment, and then I pick a fight with them, and that's just not a good thing to do. But just let them just make the comment. Say you're crazy. The Acura exhaust is amazing. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't need to fight back and say, well, I'm sorry, bro, but your exhaust sucks donkey balls. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So that's what I've been thinking about a lot. Just make more videos. Make more. I could probably, if I spent less time on the comments and all that stuff, and like for instance, if I make a post on Facebook, I still want to make posts and things like that and share what's going on. I'm just not gonna follow up with it, because all it does is frickin' stress me out, because people can't frickin' handle it. I don't know what to do with it, and then I'm stuck with it. You can dump it, and I've got to live with it. I don't like that. I can see why, Matt Farah just turned it off. Just turn it off. Or they turn it off for a little while. Say no one's allowed to comment. I don't have any intention of doing that. But like all these people about Krenzel's the biggest piece of junk. This is the stupidest thing ever. I mean, this thing is freaking insane. It's amazing. And we've sold like 8,000 to 8,000 of them now over the last 3.5 years. And so, a good percentage of them are going to have problems. 5%, 8%, something like that. It's part of the product. Sometimes you just have bad luck. And you got to work for it. Gosh, I'm washing a deeply flawed M3. There's all kinds of problems with this thing, supposedly. And those people who never owned one, never bought one, see, this is terrible. I can't believe it. And then I engage with them, and then I get myself in trouble. That's what I'm talking about. I just can't. I can't do that. Nobody wins. It's a losing proposition for everybody. Instead, I'm just going to keep talking about the darn pressure washer, and mine's freaking awesome. There was a little oil drip. Let me see if it still has it. No, not anymore. It's kind of broken in. I can't believe you can accept that there's a little oil drip. Usually the best engineered, the best products that are low production, my GT3, the original 991 GT3 got recalled, and I still bought it. Sometimes there's quirks that come with the fancy stuff. The problem is I've taken the fancy stuff and made it available to the regular, to everybody by, sharing with you how to use it. And then some people just don't know how to manage that. That's what, I made the video talking about how you shouldn't have, entitlement or expectations of you're entitled to something. We want to work for it. Otherwise, the company will totally cancel us. They'll just say, you know what, we're just not going to sell it to all these people that are super annoying because they can't handle it. Is the brake on? Nope. This is still my favorite car to wash. It's so nice. It's not even very dirty either. Can you believe that? It's not even dirty. It's the best way to wash it, when it's barely even dirty. I love it. Love it, love it. So fitness is going pretty well. My pants, I need to get my belt. My pants are starting to fall off a little bit. I'm still chubby as crap, but I could probably walk out the door right now and run a 6-minute mile again, even at 240. That's pretty good. So man, I can't even imagine if I could hit getting the 220s, 215, 210. Oh my gosh. And I don't feel 40. Like I don't feel beat up. Like I feel about the same as when I started CrossFit in my 30s, early 30s. So that's good news. I'm having a little bit harder time recovering, I think, probably. I've been doing 5 to 6 days a week, plus some additional, training and stuff like that. And it's just because I'm not expecting to drop 50 pounds in 3 months. I think I've gotten my mind right. One of the things I've struggled with the last few years is that I'd be in the gym doing a workout, thinking about what could be or where I'm going to be if I keep doing this. And so what I've been focused on now is staying present in the what am I doing right now? How can I do better? How can I improve? How can I push it a little harder? And not so laser focused on, in 6 months from now, I'm going to be able to do 45 straight pull-ups and I can only do 25 right now. Instead, I'm just going to do the 25 pull-ups the best I can. But I got Murph tomorrow, and I've been purposely scaling some things, like if I'm supposed to do like 155, I might do 135 or something like that. Try to save myself from getting hurt. And then taking 10 steps back. So I think, but I think I'm ready to do it weight vested. Murph is 100 pull-ups, or it's run a mile, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, run a mile for time. In honor of what's his name, Michael Murphy. I think it's just Murph. I think it's Michael Murphy. It's just pure pain and suffering. My PR is like 47 and change, RX straight through, not this bull crap where you break it up and you do 5, 10, 15. That's not, I don't count that. You gotta do straight through, 100 straight pull-ups, 200 straight, you can't break it up. So my guess is I'm probably gonna be an hour-ish, maybe an hour 10. Just because I'm carrying a weight vest on my body right now. So that's going to be rather difficult to do. But if it takes me an hour and a half, I'll make it take an hour and a half and just work through it. So yeah, I feel like I'm taking that next, that next personal evolutionary step. Me disengaging is not really out of anger, although I always sound like I'm angry. That's just my face. It's out of improvement. I think I can improve what it is I provide by being a little less accessible. I'm about to have a sit-down meeting with all the guys to figure out what to do about. I just hired another guy, so we'll solve the problem temporarily about speed of follow-up. When people have technical questions. Because I'm getting, people have been Google searching, trying to find my phone number. And even though, it's so funny, even though my message says, look, I'm not the guy to call for your needs, and 90% of them are, I want a quick disconnect for, I bought this quick disconnect for my Ryobi and it's leaking. In my world, not all questions have the same value. Not all customers have the same value. That's just reality. in everybody's world, that's the way it is. Just that people don't want to admit it. And so I need to figure out a way to discern that if you have some questions about something I've already answered, and it's about like a quick disconnect for your Ryobi pressure washer, when you bought all the foam can and everything else elsewhere, and you're calling me because I'm the only one who is available, because no other retailer will answer your question. They just won't even pick up the phone. They have a phone number, but no one answers it. And if they do answer it, they don't know the answer. So how do I discern the guy who bought a $10,000 pressure washer or a $10,000 air compressor versus the old man who wants to talk about Ryobi because he doesn't want to watch the video on the description of the video of the product that tells him exactly how to do it? How do I make that determination? Because I can't do both. It just can't happen. It's not possible. Unless I mark it up 50% more, and then no one will buy it. There's a happy medium. There's a balance between what a willing party will pay as a premium, and all they'll do is buy it elsewhere and then call me still and get advice. That's what people do. It's nuts. Oh, sorry, I already bought this, but can you now hire an employee and show me exactly how it works? And oh, by the way, I'm going to get angry with you if you don't pick up. So, kind of darn if I do, darn if I don't. I don't know if I double down on we just don't have a phone. We've got a support line. I think one of the things that's going to help is we're going to eventually be transitioning to having shifts. And so people will be working different hours. So we have more times available for people to call in or email in, I should say. And so we'll be able to get back quicker and have chat and stuff like that. And then have like a dedicated line. See, the problem is that the people that are entitled will still call it. But I think having a dedicated line for custom. But then they'll call and say, hey, you don't have a regular line, so I call the custom line. That's what they do. They call my phone, and my message says, look, I can't take all these calls. I have a whole team built. support@obsessedgarage.com. If that's why you're calling, just send them an email. They'll get back to you as soon as they can. Just know that your question is elaborate and everybody else's question is just as elaborate. So each one of these follow-up things, the resource, there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of times it takes, 20, 30, 40 minutes each inquiry because we're doing sophisticated stuff. And I'm not freaking hiring 45 people to answer questions about quick disconnects that I've already answered. Just not doing it. Don't care what you say. So that's stupid. Then we'll be out of business. And then we won't be able to provide any of this. So I need to figure out what's the happy medium. How do I educate more? And I think that's a lot of it is, and I've hired, Brad comes in a couple of days, or a couple of weeks. We've hired Manny to come and take over, and we're separating out the garage design from tech support. So Kyle will be heading up design, and tech support will be a separate entity. We've also separated out customer service, so Lewis does all the, hey, where's my order? Can you give me a different quote? The shipping doesn't seem right, or whatever. I want to get this to Saudi Arabia. How can you help me get it there? So Lewis takes all care of all that. Kyle does all I want to build a $100,000 garage. Tommy and Jeff right now are doing all the tech support stuff. And Manny starts next week to head that up and kind of take that to the next level. And then we'll probably build out some shifts where, we'll have 16 hours a day of people answering questions. So if you submit it at like 5 p.m., it won't take a day or two to get back. But, imagine you ask a question like, hey, I'm thinking about buying a custom install pressure washer. I have all this in my cart. What am I missing? I mean, that's not a simple thing to answer. And the phone isn't very efficient because there's too many pleasantries and too much other stuff. And also, there's too many questions that we don't have the answer to that we have to do research on. So you can see my conundrum here in building a great response while dealing with figuring out how to filter. I need to filter out questions that are already answered that people, you know, I'd rather turn them away because they're not a good customer anyway if they're not willing to do any work. They're just going to complain about everything, the whole process. But it's a bit of nonsense where you call, you order something, or you call, or you send an email and expect a response immediately. You know, good luck. Call Amazon up, see what you get. We have the best freaking customer service probably, certainly in the game that I'm in. And it still has a long way to go. Like a long freaking way to go. But we just figure it out. I used to get really stressed out about that at delivering. But we're constantly evolving and improving, and you know, I have freaking 10 people now that do nothing but that. So it's not like I haven't invested in it to support these things that no one else has ever supported. I mean, I freaking made it up. Gosh sakes. Like my darn labels that don't work. So we got to figure out the adhesive on the labels. Spray some hides on my rotors. But yeah, things are going well. We got a good team. Continuing to add to it. Lots of new products coming. Really working on the audio stuff. I mean, Milwaukee's been delayed because I can't get any Milwaukee stuff to finish the packages. All this stuff is sitting at ports or sitting in production. It's only natural that the big purchasers are going to get first priority. Should be the way it is. So the Home Depots of the world are going to get stuff first. They should. They buy more. All right, let's dry this puppy off. I'm going to blow it off here and then pull it in. How good that thing looks. Oh my gosh. Oh, so good. So good. Alright, let's clean up our mess here. My pants are falling off. That's good. That's what I'm looking for. I cannot wait to get a hose reel in my garage in my house. Oh, I can't wait. I guess I can wait because it's going to be a while. I always take one of my all-purpose towels, wipe my sweat off. hose and clean it up. That way every time it goes in, it's nice and clean. Got a mess going on here. What the heck is this all about? I'm so excited to get up into the mountains again. I'll be even more excited if I can drive a little bit when I'm up there. There's nothing more I want right now than to be able to ship my car up to my own house. It gets dropped off in my own garage. I go up there, I meet it. I can go out in the evening, in the morning, whenever I feel like. Just go out my front door, jump in the car, and go hit some of the most amazing roads ever. Come back, wash it in a dedicated wash bay with all kinds of cool stuff. And then because I'm not going to be there all that often, be able to let some people borrow it to help pay for it. And that's the current Maddie American dream. I think I'm ready for it, but we'll see. We'll see when I get up there if I'm ready for it. It's a lot smarter to pull the hose all the way out straight than to fight it like I'm fighting it right now. I just don't like to drag my fitting across the floor. Just across the concrete. Go, take that, tighten it down, and we're done. Let's put our buckets away. Okay, I think we can close up the door. Let's put our stool back here. I'm going to work on doing the GT4 exhaust. The Dundon headers with the sole rear section is just too aggressive. It's too freaking loud and drony. It's too straight through. Alright, pause it for a second. I gotta take a leak. God dang it, this car looks so good. Oh, cow. So we got Slipstream, no dye, no scent. This is our prototype bottle. And the nice thing about it, there's not a lot of funky film. There's a little bit, but not like the colored stuff. I think I got a bottle of colored and scented over here. So this is what I'm largely hoping to avoid. You see this here, colored. It's colored like orange and scented, and it's so colored that it's dyeing my bottle. And the other thing I noticed when I took apart the Tesla, took the front lip off, there was all kinds of leftover pink stuff or orange stuff underneath the lip. It's like, that's no good. But this stuff, I hate the fact that it's this good, but I can't help it. It is. I don't want this to be the one. But it's a B&B catalog item drying aid. It's so freaking good. Somebody brought up a good point about drying aids, and that we're not really using this as a drying aid because the car's already pretty dry. I guess that kind of makes sense, but I still have water on the car, so this is the final drying. So good, man. It's, I mean, bead maker's great, but this has all the bead maker stuff without any of the byproducts. So we should have it in late summer, I think. I should never tell you this stuff ahead of time because then people start freaking out wanting to get it. Oh no, new rock chip. That's part of the game. Yeah, this car is real nice. It's a real nice iteration of this car. I like it. I like it even more when I finally get the exhaust done the way I want. I'm doing my best to not just assume that the American racing is not going to be great. It's just, I always do that to myself. I'm like, this is it. I've got to figure it out. I've done the research. I've made the choice. And then it turns out to not be what I wanted, which is like 90% of my life, which is why I think the stuff in the Obsessed Garage domain is so valuable, because it's the culmination of all the things that worked, or sort of worked. And there's nothing in there that doesn't work. This is the one, this car, as good as it looks to you on camera right now, that's what it looks like in person. Unlike, you know, the E36 looks great on camera, but it looks terrible in person. It's got a lot of work to get it up to the standard. Just put this in my pocket here. So I haven't been obsessing so much over the yarn building. I've just been kind of waiting until it happens, and then I need to get some cars in there. We've laid it out on, digitally on our software, but I need to get some cars in there just to get the feel for it. And that sounds ridiculous, but I just need to do that. Need to get in there, put 2 or 3 cars in there, move them around a little bit, see what functionally makes sense. The E36 is getting the front bumper painted, and then the rear, when I took the window out, really exposed how badly the repair job was on the rear quarter, the rear driver's quarter, so we're going to fix that. Kind of want a new windshield on this car. Yeah, this bottle's terrible. Doesn't even let the air out. Yeah, so I think I don't know that I'm gonna get to the exhaust this week, but I'd like to do this exhaust this week. I think I don't know if I'll finish the GT4 exhaust today, but after I finish this here, I'm gonna edit this video real fast, see if I can upload it here today. It's probably too long to get it uploaded. gonna hang out and try to watch my friend Norm do the, he's at the Middle Atlantic CrossFit Games. I bought they're my, coaches. They own the gym that I go to, and so Norm is a legit athlete and made it to semifinals, and so I bought their plane tickets and sponsored them, so I feel like I'm a part of it, even though I'm a fat amateur. So that's one of the things I want to be able to do in this world, and I've done not a lot of it, but I'd like to do more of it, is to, I'm not a huge fan of organized charity. I think they're not, it's not my style. I like to be able to choose my own contributions to the world. Whether you get a tax benefit or not matters less to me, but to be able to choose when to support things and people that I feel compelled to rather than obligated to. You pretty much guarantee if anybody asks me for money, I'm not doing it. No one likes to be guilted into it. What do I do with the bottle? There it is. Yeah. So I think I'll probably edit this video. And then start taking the GT4 rear section off. Tell you what, one of the best things I bought were pole jacks. I need to find some really legit pole jacks. I use those darn things on the scissor lift daily, doing something. Just makes it so much easier. It makes it so I can do things on my own when I need to. I can't wait for the yarn building's going to be awesome. Because the building up on 42, that my other building that used to be my, was my CrossFit gym that I bought for that, because that building's going to be done around the same time here in the next couple of weeks. The yarn building's going to have no spillover, so there's not going to be any product over there. Unlike here, we oftentimes have product spilling into my garage, into my filming and videoing area. I mean, I don't really look at this as a video area. I look at this as my garage. I don't really want to make a studio. I want it to just be my garage, and then we set up a camera in it. I don't like it better that. I like that idea, that concept better. The way I have a garage, when the camera's not on, I can still use it for what I want to use it for. Which is to play with my cars. But I hate it when a pile of stuff shows up and then it encroaches on my garage area. I don't like that. So with this slipstream, we don't need as much product, speed maker. Ooh, my countertops are going to be here this week, I think. I don't normally dry the jams until I'm done with the car with these towels, but this trunk is so clean that it's no different than the rest of the car. It didn't rain. I didn't drive this in the rain this week. I should have just brought my clothes, and I should have just run home. It's probably like 4 miles. Because I'm gonna need to do Murph tomorrow. So yeah, I would say just leave this car here, nice and clean. Watch, it'll be raining. I'll have Michelle come get me. Make sure I get that Krenzla out of there. It's pretty darn slick. This stuff is slick, slick, slick. All right, let's finish the other side. So I did end up buying the Canon C70. So I'm using, theoretically, use a C70 at my house. Just wanted a camera there. I didn't have to come over here anytime I had a thought and wanted to shoot something. 2 towels, that's all we need. 2 towels is the whole darn car. The jams, under the hood. Do need to vacuum a little bit, just a tiny bit. Do this door, pop the hood. I always got to get under hood in this car. You always got to get a shot of that. It's so good. So I'm still in the hunt for E46 if you know of any. Not a 50, 80, 90, 100,000 mile one. I want like a 12,000 mile, no SMG bullcrap. So I'm looking for a unicorn. It's going to take a while to get. I don't know what I'll do with my E36 if that's the car I'm going to keep forever, or if we'll get this one built and then find a super low mile one. We'll see how nice it turns out. Same thing with this car. Like, I'd consider buying a collector version of this once I have the space someday. Make this one the one I drive around and modify and all that stuff, and then, I mean, I'd still modify any that I got, but just bolt-on stuff. There's nothing I want to do more than to buy I want to buy a 997 GT3 RS 4.0, change the wheels, pull the stickers off, and modify it. Because if I get one, I'm not selling it. So I'm going to do what I want to do with it. Just clean all this up here. So, that's one thing I meant to talk about is the Raptor. I think it's time. We had 115,000 miles on it. I think it's time to start thinking about something else. I already called Justin Land at Weichert Ford. My friends over there that have got me, Adam and I, all of our Fords. And I think it's time for... I just don't want to end up dealing with... I mean, the truck is fine. It'll easily go 200,000 miles plus. But I don't want to deal with the maintenance and the work that I'm going to need to do to keep it up. So I think I'm going to let it go. So I'm having Rex detail it because I let it go 6 months without washing the darn thing, and it's the coating's toast. I mean, it's been too long and too dirty, and so we're gonna do a Crystal Serum Ultra on it, get the thing set up, and then depending on when the 2021 Raptor, the new refresh comes, I may get that. I was looking at RX 570, which is a total nerd mom car, but that's a buy and keep for 10 years type of thing. Could be like the family beater, even though it's a $100,000 car, but those things, they last forever and ever with. So you get either the Land Cruiser or the Lexus version. If you want a little bit nicer, it's like 10 grand more for the Lexus. Get some more stuff like Mark Levinson audio and things like that. I don't know. I also look at I just don't want to buy a really nice car because I don't want to maintain it. So, looking at like the Cayenne, as much as I like it, it just doesn't make any sense. It has no more room than a car. It's just a taller car. But like Cayenne or Cayenne Coupe, whatever the heck that means. It's 4 doors. I don't know why they call it a coupe. I don't know, man. I was looking at Range Rover And then next thing I know, I'm speccing out a Range Rover SVR or whatever it's called. But I don't want something super nice. I want something that the kids can beat up. And, if I get a Raptor and I drive it for another several years, and I mean, time doesn't really matter. The other thing I thought about was leasing, but Michelle drives too much to lease. The advantage of leasing, then I don't have to worry about it at all. I'll just turn it back in. Yeah, I don't know. I think the answer is the new 2021 Raptor. I think that's the answer. Even though it sounds like crap. And I'd probably just leave it alone. Just leave it stock. I probably wouldn't do the suspension or anything like that. And then Michelle will have a Tesla. The other thing I thought about doing was a Model S. The Model Y and Model X make 0 sense to me. Spend $100 and something thousand on a Model X doesn't seem right. And the Model Y is the ugliest things on the planet. But I'd love to, if I was balling harder, get it done Range Rover. That'd be sick. And just let her ruin it. The lease on a SVR is like $2,200 a month, something crazy. I'm not doing that. Write-off or not, that's too much freaking money. I'd cart the kids around. So the Raptor's such a great option for that. And then you just put a cover on the bed. That way we can throw their crap back there or fold it up if they need it. So Michelle can drive around with all the chairs and stuff she needs for the games. And buying one used, like buying the Gen 2 used, makes no sense. They're selling for insane premiums. Anything used right now is a disaster to try to buy. It's just not worth it. Better off ordering a new one and waiting for it. And I was looking at Q7 and X7, and they're just too nice. Michelle's gonna ruin it. So buying a $60,000, $70,000 Raptor seems to make a lot of sense. I even thought about finding a lower mile Gen 1, but it would still be older and things are going to start breaking, and I don't want to deal with that. All right, that's it. That's a wrap. I'll let the tire dressing sit and I'll wipe the excess off before I take it home. I'm going to just vacuum out the interior real quickly. And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining me this morning. Letting me talk your ear off. Everything I talk about, I don't necessarily know if I'm doing or not, but I'm just going with stream of consciousness top of my head, what's going running through it, and bringing you along for the ride. So thanks for being here. Appreciate you being a part of it. I think we're getting pretty close to chasing our wash and drive series sometime later this year. We're going to start that series up. And we have some more camera equipment to acquire to be able to really do it the way we want. And I'll keep doing wash and talks. Probably wash a GT4 next weekend. And probably the GT4 and the GT3. And just keep doing this. And I want to start doing some more live stream stuff at the house when I've got a few more things I got to set up with the audio system and all of that, and start doing some live streams there. And lots of content coming. Thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned for more crazy. See you soon.